Winter weather lover, I am team get on a surfboard and paddle out, because doesn't that look beautiful? 3 weeks into January right now, 9 months into a global pandemic. We don't blame you if you'd rather be, I don't know, maybe somewhere a little more like this right now. And trust me, you are not alone. Today is National Plan for Vacation Day. And according to a recent survey, Americans desperately want to get away, but with no real way to know when the pandemic will ever end. How do you plan some time off? Well, lucky for us, we have an expert. We are turning to travel expert Troy Petenbrink for help this morning. And Troy, I would normally say, my goodness, look at you in Key West, but I know you too well because you didn't post any pictures on social of you in Key West, so I'm guessing this is a vacation 2021 style.
Yeah, that's true. I am coming to you virtually from Key West, Steve, but it's good to be with you this morning.
All right. Well, the background looks very nice this morning. We appreciate it. Look, normally we would be planning vacations. And Troy, we have a lot of questions for you this morning. First of all, is it safe to start planning not knowing what's going to happen in the next 3, 6, 9 months from now? And if so, what should we plan for?
Yeah, well, Steve, I think that, throughout this pandemic, there's a certain level of risk we're taking with planning any vacations. It is changing rapidly. We can literally look to the last few days. We now have a requirement that if you are returning from international travel, you must test negative before you can even board that plane. That is a brand new rule that just happened in the last few days. So that is how fast things are changing right now. But that is not to say that travel is not possible. It certainly is. It's just a matter of knowing your expectations and setting them.
You know, this TripAdvisor data that just came down was showing that a lot of people are clicking on more international destinations the second half of this year. Optimistic, I guess, that maybe more travel can happen then. Would you recommend booking something now and then canceling it if you have to?
Yeah, there's a fine line right now, Steve. There's some awesome deals to be had out there. And definitely, as you were alluding to earlier, the travel industry wants you to book that travel. I would recommend, though, if you are going to be doing things like that, be very cautious around the cancellation and change fees. Many of them have been removed, but many of them are going to come back. And you do not want to be caught in a situation where all of a sudden you are faced with an exorbitant amount of fees. So you definitely want to be looking at those cancellation fees and paying close attention to those. You also want to be monitoring the rules around testing, vaccine, and quarantining. I think one of the things that we're going to see as travel opens up is the possibility that you must be vaccinated before you travel. We've already seen that with testing requirements and quarantine requirements. We may very well see it with vaccination requirements as well. Troy, I guess I'll ask you your expertise here. We focus so much on the rules when it comes to what you do to get in or out of a country or a destination. Whether you're going to Jamaica or Paris, or Portugal, is there a way that you can see even what's open? Even if you can get there, are some places worth going to and some places not? Because if you get there, everything's shut down? That is a great question, Steve. You've got to do a lot more research right now. And when you do find places open, make reservations, because with limited capacity, it's very difficult sometimes to get into attractions and restaurants once you get to a destination. I'll give you a perfect example. I was in New York last weekend. I went up to a press event for an art exhibit opening. When I arrived in New York, I was immediately meted at the train station by a health department worker who asked me to fill out a form. I received a call every day from the New York State or the New York City Sheriff's Office verifying that I was in my hotel room and that I was only going to my exhibit and back to my hotel room.
Restrictions are there.
Those are some of the things that you're having to deal with as you travel right now.
Last thing, Troy, I know you're a cruise expert. In 2020, everybody was kind of deferring cruises to 2021, and we thought that once this year started, you could get out there. Can you still book a cruise, or are all those deferrals, did they book everything up for this year?
You can definitely still book a cruise. The issue is whether or not you're actually be able to take that cruise. We have seen the renewal dates, the kind of returning to cruise dates constantly changing. Now all cruises domestically are canceled through the end of April. I expect that will go into the summer. I expect that will be extended again. Again, you're going to be taking a risk there. However, most of the cruise lines are being very good about rebooking, about refunding if necessary. So I do think there is opportunities there. Unfortunately, with the changing nature of these variants and those sort of things, it's very unpredictable. But that's not to say you can't do it. It's just you've got to do a lot of extra planning.
No doubt about it. Well, Troy, in the meantime, your salmon polo looks great against that Key West sunshine there in your home office. Appreciate your tips as always, Troy. Safe travels when we can finally get out there.
Absolutely, Steve. Thank you.
There's the information if you want to check out Troy and his social media, as he does do quite a bit of traveling, Jeanette, which we are all always jealous of.
Oh, of course. All right, Steve, thank you. Time now, 8:53.